What's up guys, I'm Heath the Ref, and today I've got a little bit of a different video for you. Today we're going to talk about initiations with Carlos Diaz. Carlos has been working for ADCC for a really long time, really experienced judge.
So, obviously the rules are designed for activity and aggressiveness. So that is actually one of the main things that we are looking to during the match. We want to see the aggressiveness. Who is the person most willing to create action, to do something technically proficient, and those initiations. And as a definition, an initiation is going to be who starts a technically proficient movement for a real cause and effect and defensive reaction of their opponent. That's the best way and probably the most clear definition that I can give it.
So after the points period, the no points period, overtime, everything, the score is still tied?
Correct.
Then you're going to look at who initiated the action more?
Correct, 100%, absolutely.
And so you're marking down on your paper how many initiations somebody gets, and what happens if at the end of the match, a really closely contested match, the initiations are equal? Is there some way that you'll say that this initiation was more important than this other initiation that someone had, or how do you decide that?
Yeah, so that's where we look at a technically proficient initiations. When we look at those things, because you can have somebody just pushing and shoving, and it may seem that they're an aggressive competitor, okay? But aggressiveness without technical proficiency doesn't really lead to much. So we want to see who's truly trying to pass, for example.
So you're looking for an honest movement to advance position, cause some action.
Absolutely, 100%.
And so a lot of the times I think that people generally think that the top position is a more dominant position, or the top of turtle is a dominant position. But in ADCC, is it possible to spend a majority of the time in a less dominant position but win the decision because you had more initiations?
Yeah, absolutely. So a really good example, and this is incredibly common, is somebody takes a shot and grabs the leg, but I'll get a whizzer and I'll do a big hip toss. So you see, you got the big boom on the mat, so everybody turns around to see, oh my gosh, what happened over there? So this is where the initiation is a little important, because the big moment would have not happened if his opponent would have not showed in. So, when it comes to the end of things, the only reason that happened is because the opponent shot, took the risk of taking that shot. So that's worth more.
So the person who took the shot in this case would be getting the initiation?
Absolutely, at 100%, yes, sir.
Interesting. So Carlos, can you walk us through some examples of very clear initiations?
So, taking in a match progression, of course, we start standing. You have people that fake takedowns and somebody that just bum rushes in and, it's just up and down, changing levels and do a little knee tap. But there's real no intent of taking the opponent down. Versus somebody that it was technically more proficient and can either get a body lock or gets the leg or gets the person to the ground and they scramble, and it doesn't have the control time to be able to score the actual points. But that is a true initiation. So that's one option. Now we get to the ground. Who is genuinely trying to attempt submissions? You're getting a submission and it creates whatever defensive response is from your opponent to defend that submission.
So let's say, for example, you are playing in top position, you go for a rolling kimura, but the connection is really loose and your opponent is pretty much just able to push you off really easily. Would you count that as an initiation?
At that, I'm looking at technical proficiency. Because, rolling kimura, like you say, somebody can just have a hold of the arm with one hand, roll over their body, and they never really have control of their submission. So I'm really not looking at that as like a real control submission.
But if they lock it in all the way, they walk.
Yeah, then if like I'm on top, and I lock that kimura in, then in that case, that would be a true initiation.
So you're looking for, from the standing, picking up the leg, forcing your opponent to sprawl, defend that way. Maybe if you even force their hips to the mat, cause them to turtle, that's going to get initiation.
Absolutely.
When you get to the ground, you're looking for legitimate submission attempts.
Legitimate sweeps as well. You know, that happens a lot. Guys will actually get into the sweep, but they can't control the sweep to be able to score. But they initiated that sweep, you know, they were able to put their opponent down, they were just not able to control.
Right.
So that's a true initiation.
What about for guard passing? What are you specifically looking for?
So guard passing, I call it the guard dance, where somebody's like, you know, might have control of the ankles and they're just hopping from side to side, side to side. They make half a step forward and they go back. Or the other ones that I call is the kamikaze dive bombers. They're standing and they just kind of like do like a knee cut.
Or cartwheel.
Or, yeah, you know, and they just jump into the guard. They're not passing the guard. You need to like proficiently, you know, you got to clear the feet, clear the knees, and control the hip line, you know, and that's what I call the, you know, the trinity of guard passing. You know, you really need to make those attempts to clear those points. So again, somebody that is clearing the feet, the knees, and trying to control the hip line, yes, I'm going to give him an initiation for attaining those goals, versus someone that is just cartwheeling on top, you know, again, doing those the kamikaze dive bomb knee slice, where they're just jumping into the knee slice, but then, you know, their opponent is just retains guard fairly simple, just keeping their knees close to their chest. You know, those are not attempts to guard pass. You need to truly, you know, force getting into the half, you know, again, the real concept is clearing the feet, clearing the knees, trying to control the hip line. That was considered a guard pass. We want that continuous activity. We want to push the pace, you know, and that's why we're aggressive with those stalling calls, with the warnings, with the negatives, you know, those passivity calls. We're pretty aggressive overall as an organization because, again, the rules are meant and designed to push the action. Now, you know, I know we've been talking a lot about initiations, but one thing I want to make to everyone very clear. If someone scores, initiations mean nothing.
Right.
So, you know, you know, if my opponent truly takes me down one time, he's going to get scored on. Initiation means nothing.
Right.
Initiations are only a viable situation when there's no scoring or scoring is even.
Right.
So I want to make that very clear.
All right, so now we're going to check out a couple matches, ADCC matches, one from an Open and one from last year's World Championships. And I want you to kind of just talk about, you know, what you're seeing, what you're going to be counting as initiations.
Here, you start seeing that he's aggressively trying to get those the violin or cello arm bar. You know, he's aggressive about, you know, trying to get some control of his opponent's body to try to sweep. See here, he's trying to get under him to get that either footlock or sweep.
Now, would you have marked any of these movements?
Not yet, but you see the progression of the movements. Mm-hmm. You see, you know, even though Mario is actively also trying to pass the guard, but who's being more proficient? You see that the graph is actually being a little bit more proficient about controlling his opponent's body and where he wants to be. But Mario is defending really well as well. Okay, so this was a true initiation to me. Mm-hmm. So let's go back a couple of seconds. Okay, so we see the graphs. He comes in, fake little slide and drag, but he caused a genuine defense reaction to that single leg.
Right.
So I take that was something that I would take in consideration. Once again, here, tries to get the leg. Okay, so the only reason Mario got behind him is because the grabs, leg attack for that takedown. Okay.
And anything else that happens from this rear body lock position is going to be?
That all depends, you know. You know, Mario tried to Granby out of that, you know. I'm sorry, the graph tried to Granby out of that. but Mario's maintaining good control. So now we're talking about who's intent. So right there, you obviously know that Mario pulled him down.
Right. I see.
You know, so okay, he's got his hooks in, while he's one hook in.
So if you're scoring this right now, you've got
I would have those 2 initiations for the Graf.
2 initiations for DeGraff and 0 for Mario.
And yeah, 0 for Mario.
Okay.
Okay, there you go. Now we have another little hip toss there from DeGraff.
So what happened here? Mario grabs the underhook.
So Mario's not doing anything. He's just staying there. DeGraff tried a hip toss from there, you know, and created an action that they probably went to their knees over here outside of frame, you know, and probably because of that, again, Mario's slick about it to control his back. But, you know, again, not being proficient, so
now the score is 3 initiations to 0.
I would give it, yes, I would give that hip toss where it forced them down to go to their knees to 0.
That was the Andre I was talking about.
Yeah, but again, it was really sloppy. It really didn't do much, but that's, to me, would be a mental one. It would be one that I put on my notes. Okay, nice, good single. But again, can't control Mario, and Mario spins around to his back, but doesn't put hooks. And you see Mario being a little passive here, not forcing much. DeGraff's understanding the rules about being turtle for 3 seconds or more,
rolling to guard.
and then rolling to his guard.
So now, would you have counted that as an initiation as well?
I would have counted that single leg, yes, for sure.
So now the score would be 4
initiations to 0.
So here, Andrew, he knows the rules really well. So he knows that he won because he got 4 initiations.
Yeah.
Mario thinks that he won because he was in top position.
Yeah.
And we actually had a discussion with Mario afterwards where he was quite upset that he lost because he said, I was in top position, I was in dominant position the whole time. And
listen, this is the reality. Athletes want to win, and they're going to try to push every edge possible to win. But just because you're in top position doesn't mean you win, as obvious by this match.
All right, so the next match we have here is Tairi versus Nicholas Meroli in the absolutes. And you know a little bit about this,
I do.
match, huh?
I was the main table judge for this match. Okay, there we go. Nicholas with 1/10 of a sloppy single there.
But not an official initiation that you would write down.
No, I wouldn't take that one in major consideration. But again, I keep that one in the back of my mind. There you go, Nick. Boom, with the big takedown. Initiated by Nick, and he controls. This is a big, important moment because this is a scoring move during no points time. So that is a huge check mark on my book.
Right, so if you initiate a scoring move and no points, that's going to be a huge...
That's a big mark in there because that would have been a scoring move, but it's just a non-scoring time yet. So we saw Ty there go for like a sloppy single leg. Again, I keep that in the back of my mind, but it wasn't nothing strong. He literally put his hands where he could have grabbed that leg and put effort into it, but he realized, I'm not going to waste my energy on trying to finish this single.
Yeah, similar to what Nicholas had earlier.
Similar to what Nick did earlier. So if we want to look at it, we got 2 minor ones, if we want to look at it that way. But again, the dominant one is, you know, where Nick... Go ahead. Now let's pause this real quick. Let's go back a couple of moments here. So we see Nick go for that single leg. And here we go. Single leg, drive. Ty defended with the hip toss. That hip toss would have never happened if Nick didn't go for the single.
And now Ty is immediately...
And goes for the darts right away because that's his moneymaker. So again, those things would have never happened if Nicholas didn't try to finish that single. So that initiation is just Nicholas.
And even as this darce plays out,
but he doesn't submit him. He doesn't finish it.
Right.
So
this is all still going to count as Nicholas's initiation. All of this.
This all happened because of Nicholas' initiation.
Right.
You know.
If Nicholas never shoots the single,
this would have never happened at this moment in the match.
It's close to tapping. He really does look close to tapping. Oh, he's out.
Oh, and he's out.
Not only that, but everything was continuous motion. Nicholas gets on top. So that would have been another scoring position for Nicholas Meregali.
Right.
So again, I have to take into consideration, referee Miguel, he stops the action. Let's move to the center because we're invading another mat. All right? So again, if this all was during points period, Nicholas would have had another 2 points.
Right.
Because it was all continuous motion out of his single leg that he started. But again, they're pushing the action. They're still engaging. Nicholas, again, another little minor one, reaching for that leg.
Both athletes pose a very interesting
Even though it was not a true drive, but we got to take those little things in consideration.
Right now, out there on the mat.
But as far as the official initiations that you would mark down,
Not yet, but now we have one for Ty with that single leg.
gotcha.
Okay? So I would give that to Ty, even though, again, you could see by their exhaustion and sweatiness, you know, Nicholas was fairly easy to defend.
Both men have had such a long
So you've got 2 for Nicholas now and 1 because of that
And
single.
2 major scoring positions for Nicholas versus a minor one for Ty. Again, now we have the body lock.
Body lock from Meroli.
Boom, Nicholas controlling the body lock, truly honest, elevating, try to take him down, but he goes down into a non-scoring position. Now he's chasing the back, genuinely, truly trying to get that back, forcing Ty to the hip. 1,000, 1,000, he turtles, does not score. But all of this is happening because of Nicholas.
Right.
Nicholas again looking to score on that back, controlling, and he couldn't. Back up on their feet after that scramble. All that because of Nicholas' action.
Right.
So if we're really looking at this, we have 3 major initiations to 1 minor out of Ty.
Right.
Because I know half of the stadium was booing the decision, but I'm glad we're doing this. So the fans understand a little bit better.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the things that the fans might have been looking at is that Darce early in the match.
Oh, absolutely. Plus,
was-
listen, let's be honest. Nicholas Meregali is a very outspoken person. So people, here we go. 1 for Ty, you know, even though it wasn't a major one, but he generally tried to go for that double leg into the body lock.
And if it wouldn't have been so close out of bounds, it probably
He
would
might have continued to drive forward, yeah.
So Nicholas picking
Again, another single leg with the big takedown, but didn't control. Goes back to the body lock from the back, controlling the position, but it's a non-scoring position. Okay? All of this because of Nicholas Meregali's initiations. So now we have 4 major ones to a minor. No pun intended, because Ty Rotolo is still a minor in this match. Yeah, he goes under, boom, a 10 stat.
And that leg
So
injury-
going to the overtime, we have 4 big major
5 minutes for
initiations
one of these
versus
athletes to
a
punch
minor
their
for
ticket
Ty Rotolo.
to the absolute
Remember,
final.
we
All
judge
eyes
the
in
whole
packed
match.
Right.
Thomas
So,
Mack Arena
you know,
are
we
on
have the
mat
longest period now. Now they're both exhausted, they're both sweaty, they're both tired. Now let's see what happens through the overtime.
Nicholas now.
Again, here we go, another shot for Nicholas Meregali, even though he didn't complete that takedown. But now we have a good, big double leg for Ty Rotolo. Defensive action from Nicholas Meregali, almost put him on his butt on the mat. But that one will be Ty Rotolo's major initiation, because he really had that double leg in there. But we still had big 4 major initiations to Meregali for those keeping score. And even though as exhausted as they are, and there goes Nicholas Meregali with another single, driving forward, pushing the action, okay, causing Ty to have to defend once again.
That one maybe not as big as the other
No,
ones, but-
absolutely not. But consideration, who's pushing the action?
Oh, there we go, Nicholas picking up away.
Another single leg for Nicholas Meregali. Almost finishing here, because I remember this scramble here. There's a ramp and stuff stuff there. So again, forcing Ty to go to all 4s, controlling the back of Ty Rotolo is Nicholas Meregali.
And he ends up on top.
Okay, Ty ends up on top. Even though Nicholas Meregali could have played guard because he would have not gotten
Yeah, I was
penalized.
just gonna ask.
I think it was just a misunderstanding on the rules for Nicholas. Okay.
And now Ty here. on
And
the
now
rear body.
Ty's got that rear body lock, strong body lock control there. We're gonna restart at the same position in the center. But once again, let's take in this in consideration. Ty would have never gotten here if Nicholas wasn't trying to take his back. And even though he still escapes, no scoring position. So this is where, you know, as judges, we have to be very attentive of where does everything originate. You know, now we got 30 seconds left. You see Ty's getting a little aggressive with those with the head ties and the clubbing on the head, trying to push the action, but it's the last 30 seconds. You know, you're 10 minutes, 14 minutes too late.
Yeah, with 10 seconds winding down on the match, Ty would have to.
Yeah, now he gets super active and, you know, let's go, rough, and 14 minutes a little bit too late. Gets that double, falls in. So once again, taking everything into consideration, we have 4 major initiations to 1 minor initiation from Ty Rotolo.
So no doubt in your mind, this match for sure goes to Nicholas Meregali.
100%. The more I watch this match, the more I give it to Nicholas Meregali.
So I think I learned a lot from that, and hopefully you guys did too. So if you were training to potentially win the World Championships and you want to do the most that you can to maximize your initiations, how would you be training and what would you be thinking about while you're competing?
Cardio, wrestling.
Right.
You know, here's the reality of things. Who's going to do more? The person that has the better cardio. You know,
Sure.
You're not going to be tired. You're not going to be afraid. Yes, it is submission grappling, but you know, one of the things that we usually tend to notice is the guys with better cardio are the ones that are more aggressive the whole time, and this is one of the things we want to see. We want to see that aggressiveness. Who's pushing the action? You know,
Right.
who's doing those true technical proficient initiations?
And also be more like Andrew DeGraff, huh? Initiate and know the rules. Know that you can shoot and take the risk. Try to take your opponent down, end up in bottom turtle and roll to bottom guard. And that Andrew was able to use this strategy to rack up initiations in the overtime in that match.
Absolutely. You can't be timid with the ADCC rules. You have to be aggressive. You have to be the person initiating these moves. What's the little cliche thing? Hit like and subscribe.
Thanks, Carlos.
My pleasure.
Hopefully you guys learned something. I'll see you guys in the next video.